Welcome to Rams Brawl. This is Derek Ciapala with former Los Angeles Rams, actually St. Louis Rams, Arlen Harris, and Tommy Polley. It's a great week to start talking football. Arlen, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Keeping eyes on these COVID numbers, from state to state, seeing what the fall sports is going to look like. Excited to see the NFL start up camp. Hopefully, football still in the question.
That's what we're all hoping for. I mean, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
Tommy, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. No, I like messing with you. No, but I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried. I ain't gonna lie. We got every day. It seems like I wake up, it's a new conference shutting down football. We got the Patriot League shutting down, the Ivy League shutting down, the SAC League shutting down. But I don't think the big boys are going to shut down. So that's always a good look. Hopefully, Power 5 stays on track. I think they can handle it. But like I said, I'm a little nervous.
Well, I mean, if I'm honest, I think there's a good chance they shut down at least part of the year. But I've felt that way from the beginning for different reasons. I always felt like come November, December, when the cold weather's back, we're probably going to see another spike. And what do you do then? You kind of have to shut down then, right? So
it's looking like I seen Jersey come out with some regulations today. They came out where they're going to play in. They got 6 games, and then 2 district games for now to be like the championship. So they're playing a maximum of 8 games. The season will be over by early November. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm thinking it's going to be a altered season. The people who do play, they're going to play in September, and I don't think it's going to go no longer than November.
Including the NFL?
NFL, I think they go all the way. I just think they don't stop. There's too many ramifications if they don't play.
Arlen, do you agree yet?
I think the NFL go longer. I don't think they'll be able to get a full season in. Again, just seeing already at the college level the leagues that are saying they're not, schools, I'm sorry, they're saying they're not playing at all. And then, whether it's, would you say that like the Ivy League,
the Patriot League?
The Patriot. Now HBCU is going to be right there soon because a couple schools already said. And then, then you got the big boys that are saying just conference only. And I think it's going to determine on once school opening up. And if there's another big spike with everybody going back to class and playing, I think it's going to limit high school and college ball. I agree with Tommy. It's too many moving parts and too much money at the professional league. But again, there's only going to be so much you can do if there's going to be a whole bunch of cases, popping out. I know, again, one of the kids I trained with the Seahawks, they said they're going to expand the roster possibly because which makes sense. So if someone does get it, they don't have to hurry up and jump on the street and go to free agency. They'll just either bring them up from having bigger practice squad numbers and a bigger roster. So we'll see if that gets okayed. But I think the NFL going to push the envelope on it. I just don't think they're going to be able to finish.
And I see when somebody came out, I forgot what what's the visor people call? What's the visor?
Oakley.
Oakley came out with a visor that's kind of longer, and then it has a little mat, like something right here that covers the mouth as well, and it has little holes in it that doesn't let the particles get in. The NFL partnership without the day. Yeah, there you go. That's what it looks like right there. They came out with that today. So some players said they might not like it. I played with a visor. You had to practice with it to get used to it. You just couldn't go into the game and think you're gonna play with it because it does restrict your breathing a little bit. But if you practice with it, you should be okay. So they're trying to bring in some precautions. So I know the NFL, they're gonna buy all the shields. The Power 5 will buy all the shields. Now, anything below that, that's where can them other teams, can they pay for the testing? Can they pay for the shields? Can they pay for the other things that keep the players safe like the Power 5 and the NFL can?
And just a thought too, guys, is if there's no fans in the seats, and that's starting to come out now, there's a belief they're not going to have fans in the seats at all. If there's no fans in the seats, that changes revenue. And in their contract, their agreement, the owners and the players share the revenue. How does that change things? How does that change things in terms of player salaries when there's no fans as part of the revenue?
Well, that's a big thing. I mean, a lot of guys just play for the check. I mean, that's what most guys do, right? I mean, you need the money, right? So I think they're talking about taking 35% of their check and they put it in escrow to see how, if things are altered. What does that depend on? Whether fans can come to the game, whether that money stays in escrow, how does that shake out? Like whether they keep the money or don't keep the money, do you know?
I know I don't. I was just thinking, well, it's also got to think about what kind of rate do you see with merchandise? Because I don't think you'll see any difference in TV. You might see more viewing at home, okay? But that money's already contracted for. So how are merchandise sales affected when people aren't going to games? How are all the other things that go into the game experience affected? The player outreach in the community is going to be gone. So there's going to be a whole lot of things that change in terms of the game itself. And I with all those factors in mind, I don't really know how they would properly judge how to allocate the money with that 35% escrow.
I'm sure they'll find little ways. I was looking at something where they was going to let fans call in or be able to scream into the stadium or something. So I'm sure virtual ways they'll try to find some ways to make up the bucks. Now, they ain't saying they're going to make it all up, but I mean, it's maybe some ways they can make it up by charging fans to be appear more virtually by booing or screaming or whatever that may look like. So it may be other ways that they can find a way to stream more money, but I mean, it's going to be difficult. Well,
yeah, I agree. I don't have the answers for it, but I think there's probably, just like that we talked in the previous episode, someone buying up those names. There's somebody out right here sitting and waiting and stewing that have a great idea that's going to make a whole lot of money. You know what I mean? Because of this is an issue. You know, I think there's going to be ways they're going to figure it out, just like they did with the draft. There's too much at stake for them to just say and put out lackluster effort, man, at the exposure of not being able to play a season or be able to maintain fans and continue to make money. They're going to figure something out. There's going to be some type of experience, virtual, like Tommy said, whether it's virtual, whether it's on site, but you might not even be in the stadium. They're going to figure something out. You know what I mean? Where they might allocate certain space within the parking lot and near tailgating, and you might hear who knows? There's so many things out there available because of technology. They'll figure something out.
But in the meantime, we still have sports to cover, and we still are expecting a season. And our preview this week, though, is for the AFC East, and especially no real Rams news out there, which is I kind of like if it's quiet. That's a good sign. No one's getting in trouble. No one's going to jail. No one's doing anything stupid. I kind of like it quiet right now. I mean, no one. And it also means no one's sick. By the way, we know if someone was sick.
They might not be telling you.
Privacy.
They might not.
I mean,
HIPAA.
They had one.
Right.
Well, put it this way: no one's sick enough to where they would tell anybody. You know what I'm saying? If there's someone gets sick enough to the point where it's critical, you usually will tell somebody. And, that you don't wake up. Like, just found today, Russell Westbrook for the Rockets, coronavirus positive. I mean, they're not really hiding it too much. So, the AFC East, things have changed. Tom Brady's gone to Tampa Bay. You have a rising Buffalo Bills team. The Jets, they're still the Jets. And Miami's rebuilding, but interesting, I guess is the word for them. Interesting?
Yeah.
So, enter Cam Newton, late signing here with the Patriots. I'm wondering immediately what your initial first thoughts are when you're looking at the AFC East as to where do you even start with this division? Tommy, I'll start with you.
I'm still go with the Patriots. They still got the greatest coach in the modern day football, and Bill Belichick. They got a threat at quarterback now. They got a couple running backs. So I think they're going to more be a smash mouth team, downhill team. Dink and dump with Cam. Don't let them hold the ball. Let's get the ball. I think they're gonna be better. I think they're gonna be a little better team this year. But a little better, maybe same as last year. I think they're gonna win the division again. The rest of these teams, I think Buffalo, they'll finish strong number 2. I mean, Josh Allen's okay. I think everybody's overplaying him too much. He runs around a little bit, a little reckless with the ball at times. But he got Stephon Diggs as a new receiver. So, I mean, they're going to be a tough out. They got a great coach as well. I like their coach. He does a great job with their defense. So I think they're going to be a tough out. But I still just think the Patriots, with their veteran leadership, with their defensive, they got a lockdown corner. Defense was stout last year until the end. And I think Miami, like you said, they're interesting. I think, but they'll finish third. They played hard for the coach last year. I think he got his guys in there that he wants. He got rid of the guys that didn't want to be there last year. So I think with Fitzpatrick probably start out the season. I don't really like Fitzpatrick. I think he's a glorified backup who gets praise from being down 21-0, and he brings them back to 21-21, and then he proceeds to lose the game the rest of the way, and everybody, oh, did you see Fitzmagic? But I think Tua being there by game 6 to 7, mid-season, I think he'll be ready to roll. But I think the Jets will finish 4th. I just don't like their coach. I don't like their organization. I think the coach is terrible. Sam Darnold's promising. They got a solid running back. They got a great safety that he's trying to look for new money. But I still think the Patriots are the team to beat. I don't think none of these teams improved that much, or the Patriots have decreased that much for one of these other teams to take a stranglehold of the conference. I don't see it. I could be wrong, but the Patriots done won that conference, but won that division for the last 10 years, 15 years, something like that. I see him doing it again. So that's my opinion on it.
Arlen, what's your overview?
I think that the Patriots are definitely the team to beat. I think it was a big signing bringing in Cam. I think it's 2 totally different energy levels between Brady and him, but he's definitely had big shoes to fill. With Belichick, I mean, they always find ways to win and have that answer. They pretty much got everybody back. Their defense had a great year last year. Their corner, Gilmore, phenomenal. Won Defensive Player of the Year last year. He's their leader. But I think Cam is going to really depend on, you can already see within his tweets, I'm a different Cam, I'm a this. I think he's doing a lot of lip service right now, rightfully so, because he got a lot of doubters. But I just hope he gets back into his MVP status and just go out there and play. Everybody, he has support, right? If he goes out there and does what he needs to do, I think they'll be unstoppable. But I think if he tries to overcompensate for the Brady presence, because it's going to happen, I don't care who you are. Like, Brady's one of the best quarterbacks ever. He's going to go down if he don't play another snap. So I think if he goes out there and just does what he needs to do, win games, he'll be able to create his own path. And stay healthy. Like, if he goes out there, gets dinked up or whatever, I think the Bills are going to be on their heels. I really like their coach over there, like Tommy said. I like what the Bills are doing. Some of the things with Diggs, I don't think they had a number 1 receiver last year. You bring it, you pick up Stephon. I think that changes a lot. And then with Norman, they picked up Norman. Now he got a chip on his shoulder. I think everybody that goes to DC falls apart when they chase the money. I think he's just going to be an average dude. But at the same time, he brings depth and he has some, he got a good resume. But, losing Gore, who I think is the most underrated back in one of them in NFL history, I think that's going to hurt. But I like the what is it, Singletary? I think his name's Singletary, or the guy behind him they share some time with. I like him, but still.
And Zach Moss. And they bring in Zach Moss.
Come on, man. Zach Moss got you on the. And Zach Moss with a big back like that, I agree. He's gonna do some damage. I think he'll be able to come in there. I like Josh Allen. I think he's probably ecstatic with the pickups that they got. And then they got a good corner over there too with Trey White. You know what I mean? I think he's coming off of a great year, and they had some key free agent pickups, and then I like AJ Spencer from Iowa. Like, I think that's a steal. I think that's one of the steals of the draft. I think he's going to come in right away and create havoc and do some good things for them on the edge, and possibly, I know they talked about messing with him inside, but which is foolish. I think they got to leave him on the edge. So I like the Bills. I think the Bills got better. The Patriots are the team. Cam don't stay healthy, and he tries to overcompensate like that Super Bowl year. I think they mess around, slip up, and I don't know if this is the year, but they might fall too. I think that's unlikely. I actually got a switch. I know Tommy got the the Jets. I think I got the Dolphins. Wait, hold on. I got the Dolphins last. Even though they're interesting, I got the only reason why I'm keeping the Jets third. I'm not a fan of their quarterback at all, but I still think they got enough pieces there to at least be more successful than the Dolphins. Frank Gore is used to being in this division. Gore and Bell, my running back guy, they're both seasoned. Are they going to turn around and blow it up in the running game? I don't think so, but I think they can have some success there between the two of them. And the Mims kid, remember, I was like, man, I think the Rams should have found a way to get Mims. I think he comes in. He's not a great route runner. I know they were talking about his drops, but I think he comes in and at least poses a threat on the outside. That he's a big kid and he makes plays. So it'd be interesting to see what he does in that atmosphere, especially going into the big city. The Dolphins, man, like you said, it's interesting. They try to make a play. I think they 2-3 years away. Tua, man, I love the kid. Great records. He's proven. Alabama, great. But, I mean, is he going to be durable? I don't think he's the answer. They've brought in numerous quarterbacks. They've brought in backs. They've made moves in their free agency, and the Dolphins just seem they're like almost like Detroit in some way. Like that cloud is over that city. Like they can't get out of their own way. And I think picking up Britta was genius. From San Fran. He's one of the fastest backs in the league. But again, almost like these usually when backs run over to Miami, I think they haven't really had success since like a Ricky Williams, and he was like one and done over there. So it'll be interesting to see what he does over these next couple of years. I think he's a help, but I think running away from that Super Bowl team when nobody really knew who you was, you're not like a big name to jump out of that spotlight to get a check and say I'm gonna be the guy over here in Miami. I think it's a big leap of faith. But all in all, the division I think it's always going to be, you got to catch the Patriots. So we'll see. But I think definitely the Patriots and the Bills are way in front of, those last two teams.
I wonder about this division. And I wonder for a couple of reasons. I never want to bet against Bill Belichick. Never. Especially in a year after they kind of bummed out the end. Even with no Tom Brady, Cam Newton he's Cam Newton, and when Cam Newton is on, he's one of the most talented guys in the league. Will he fit with Bill Belichick? That's my question. And I think of these other three teams. I think of the Dolphins and the work they did in the draft and the offseason to start making that recovery. And I talked to a guy last year from they call podcast Perkville, and he said the organization chose to tank last year. They chose to just give it away and start fresh with the draft and stockpile of picks, and they're playing this year for next year and the year after that. But there's still such interesting pieces there. And the Bills, I think they're close now to the Patriots. So, and the Jets, you made the point, Tommy, about the coach there, and how, he bombed out in Miami and the clear ego problems there. What are the key stories to you about this division? What are the things that make or break the AFC East? If you could pick 4 stories that you'd want to follow this year, what would they be? Tommy?
Can Cam stay healthy? The Jets' overall management, their coaches, him and himself, I think he still has an ego problem. Him and Le'Veon Bell don't seem to be on the same page. And then when would Tua get in the game, Is Tua going to start out the season playing right away, or is he going to play 8 games, or is Fitzpatrick going to hold him off for the rest of the season? And then I think with Buffalo, I think the biggest thing for them is, can they keep improving? They got the talent. They got running backs. They got receivers now. They got a quarterback, offensive line. They got a coach. They got a great fan base. So now for them, it's just putting it all together and making it happen. So that's my fault.
Arlen, what are your 4?
I would say I'm not worried about the relationship between Belichick and Cam. I would say more so how are they going to utilize him in the run game. Like, I think he's going to be who he is. You know what Cam is, but I think that's something that Brady wasn't able to do. You know exactly where he was going to be at. He's going to pick a defense apart. But is he going to bring a different – it'd be interesting to see what Belichick does with his legs. You know what I mean? And utilizing him outside of the pocket, because that's defenses aren't used to that. So I think that's more what exactly Cam's role going to look like on that team offensively. I think with the Bills is going to be the run game. You know, you lose Frank Gore, you lose some leadership. We said we picked up Stefan Diggs, and there's going to be some pieces there. But what is that run game going to look like collectively? And and what's that defense going to be able to do? If they're going to be able to hold up some things, because I think they're going to score. I think they're going to score some points and be able to stretch the field.
I think Frank Gore liked that running back. When they're running back Central Florida, and that's the South Florida kid, right? The running back for Buffalo. I think he went to Central Florida, Singletary, whatever he said.
Yeah. He was all right. He did good.
Yeah, Frank liked him. Frank talked big about him.
Yeah. So, now being the guy, go from and you get to learn and move into that spot. I think he has an opportunity there. With the Jets, I think their story is going to be that quarterback. Is he gonna finish out, or are they gonna sit him down and figure out a different answer? Like he's not proven, he's inconsistent.
Did they shut him down last year for having a mental breakdown or something for a couple games?
I think they hit behind him like having mono or something and tried to sit. I think it was something. I know he got sick and he wasn't being productive. And I think because guys, remember he was here with St. Louis with then I was with 2 cities with him, St. Louis and in Detroit, and I see him trying to be like a Mike Mars. He's always going to get a quarterback. He has pride in my offense. It's my way or no way, and he's trying to play that role. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do and over there. But with the Dolphins, man, it's just winning. Can they win, get past 5 games? And you ain't going to tell me that 2 is the answer right now. You know what I mean? And I don't know if they got enough pieces.
Fitzmagic.
To figure it out. And what you say?
Fitzmagic.
Nah, man.
What?
Nah, we're not.
The beard.
Fitz ain't no bum, no.
Fitz a bum.
Nah, he ain't a bum.
Fitz a bum.
Nah, he not.
He a bum. He 21. He'll get you down 21-0, and then he'll bring you back within 2 points or something, 3 points, and then blow the game up. And they, did you see? I never seen such a thing.
You know how Fitzpatrick is smart, intelligent dude, and they gonna say he's gonna limit mistakes. And now we've seen him make mistakes like anybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, they got a nice receiver over there. Who I think would he finish top 5 this past year? Parker.
Yeah. He started popping off to that. He started popping up to Michael, the receiver in New Orleans, and he put him in his place. Yeah.
So I think the Dolphins they just got a cloud over them. So that would be my for all of the things that they got to overcome. But we'll see.
This is a franchise where the Dolphins has spent $150 million in free agency this last time out, man. $150 million.
Yeah. I think they're going to be a better team. They're going to be better than the Jets, I'm telling you. I think they're going to be better. Not with Fitzy, though. Not with Fitzy.
Out of curiosity, you guys, your thoughts. What the heck happened to Josh Rosen? 10th pick in the draft a few years back, and now?
Yeah, that's the same thing like Blaine Gabbert. Like some of them dudes that came out that little window of them 3 years, and they stealing. They young and just didn't get it done. They ski mask way.
I think with Josh, maybe, you go to the Cardinals, right? They really don't want you. They come back, get Kyler Murray the next year. Then you go to the Dolphins. I think like in anything, it depends where you go at, especially as a quarterback. Organization has to be right. The offense has to be right. They got to want you. So I think it's a lot more than just him going there being a bust. I think now with Blaine Gabbert, that's something else. I think he had all the resources. I just don't think he got it done. But Josh Rosen, one could argue they didn't give him all the resources. The next year they let him go, and so on and so forth.
The Dolphins, though, to me, are a little bit deceiving because they already had some good spots for that team. For a team that was as awful as they were, the secondary last year performed very well, especially in coverage. Jones, 83.3% coverage grade. Howard, 71.9% coverage passer rating grade. They add talent there. The offensive line allowed quarterback pressure in less than 2.5 seconds on 30% of passes. That's something to look at as well. But when you have a secondary that is a core there on the defense, even before you spent $150 million, that's, to me, it says you got, if you did it right and you get your quarterback right, this could be a quick turnaround. I'm not saying this year, by the way, but I'm saying sooner rather than later. I'm not saying this year.
You would think so, right? You would think so, right? I'm saying the Dolphins they continue to it was like Cleveland. They keep trying to do the same thing over and over again. It's just it's not working. And there's a lot of good corners in general in that league. So it ain't just, there's some good corners in this division.
Is there? I want to bring this up to you guys because part of me is kidding, but part of me is starting to think it for real. Is there a Dan Marino curse in Miami?
I think it's a South Beach curse. Oh. Now, when I was playing, it seemed like the Dolphins were always finish. They start out the first quarter of the season 3-1, 4-0. Then as the season gets going, they might even be 6-2 by the time of 8 games. But it seems like the more winning they do, then by the end of the season, it seemed to fade off. I wonder why. Maybe they might want to hang out a little bit too much. Maybe it's a little bit too many activities to do down there. Then once you winning down there, it picks up even more. Now you're on more flyers. You get invited to more parties, more females like you. You got more things you're doing and less about football. So I don't think it's a Dan Marino curse. I think it's a look. Number one, they got a bad organization. Ain't one of the better ones. And then, second of all, I think the atmosphere being in South Florida and like even when they had Sam Madison and Zach Thomas and all them, they start off great. Get all the way to the end of the season and somehow fall off. So I just think attribute that to South Florida environment.
But just hear me out on this one, okay? You hear me out. This is the list of starting quarterbacks for the Dolphins since Dan Marino. You ready? Ryan Fitzpatrick, Josh Rosen, Ryan Tannehill, Brock Osweiler, Matt Moore, Jay Cutler, Chad Henne, Chad Pennington, Tyler Thigpen, John Beck, Cleo Lemon, Trent Green for 5 games, Dante Culpepper in 2006, Joey Harrington, Gus Frerotte, Sage Rosenfels, AJ Feely, Jay Fiedler, Brian Greasy, Ray Lucas, Damon Heward, and then you get Dan Marino. There are a couple of solid guys in there. Brian Greasy was a solid quarterback. Gus Frerotte lasted a lot of years. Dante Culpepper in his prime was one of the best in his prime. Trent Green was very good for Kansas City. Chad Pennington was decent for the Jets. Any franchise quarterbacks in there?
Tannehill, ain't he?
Well, he was supposed to be, but was he?
I don't know. They just paid him again.
Well, the Titans did. Titans paid him again.
The Dolphins paid him. Dolphins paid him the first time. You know, they gave him extension. Then they let him go. I don't know why they gave him extension, but hey, they gave him extension. he goes to Tennessee, manages the game. He's a great game manager. And he gets his contract before Henry. I mean, Arlen, I agree. They disrespect the running back. Yeah, damn. He's a game manager. I think where the Dolphins went wrong, they had a chance to get Drew Brees that year before the Saints got him. and they didn't sign him. Drew's coming off their shoulder injury. They didn't want to risk it. I think they picked up Dante Culpepper that year, and I kind of think if they'd have went on ahead and signed Drew was going to sign with him. I think that might have changed their franchise history a little bit. So I think this thing it goes back to management that they don't have a good management.
What do you think?
That's what I feel. I think the atmosphere is what it is. Just like people say, San Diego with the Chargers and people. It is a great atmosphere. There is nothing like South Beach. However, I just put it on the organization and even some coaching. Some of those, the coaches that came there. I know guys struggled over there, and I just that's what I think. That's what I hang my hat on because they've had some pieces come out there, especially defensively. Like I know he said Zach Thomas and
Sam Madison,
the DN,
Taylor,
yeah,
Jason
Taylor. Like they've had some pieces out there, and like I said, even like Ricky Williams, they've had some big time names come out there and have some success, but they just never could put it together.
Even with those teams, I told you, it always seemed like they was good at the beginning of the year, and they get about game 8, 9, you can kind of see them start to tail off. I don't know. Like, to me, I always contribute to the environment.
TP, what do you think is the same issue over with the Jets? You think it's the same type of situation with the Dolphins as far as them not being able to get over the hump? Because they've been going through the same problems over and over again.
Hey, but I guess, the Jets in Miami, they're similar because their organization, their owners are not, the best, they're not considered the best in the league. So, and then their management has always seemed to be in flux. So that's why I seem to think those two teams right there always seem to be in the same predicament because, their organization is not good.
It was fun. I remember when I transferred out of Virginia, I was playing at Hofstra for that 1 year, and I would be able to go over there and watch the Jets. Now, that was just like, it just seemed like it was ran like a college atmosphere, a lower college atmosphere. The bubble, and nobody really wanted to be there. Now, I'm a big Curtis Martin fan, so like that era with Curtis Martin, then then Herm comes in, everybody like Herm as a player coach. I think after that, man, they just can't get right. I think it's I wouldn't put that dark cloud over them like a Cleveland or Detroit or like Miami, but it seems like they continue, I say over the past, I don't know how many years, to consistently not have players buy in. And like you talk about with the Rams, when people leave the Jets, they disgruntled. That's there's always something going on over there. And now with Geis over there, because he's really headstrong and putting all the attention on offense, and there's always a quarterback issue. And I even think about Chase Daniels, like some dude from Mizzou. Like, there's quarterbacks that be popping in and out of there, and dudes that have been successful go over there and they kind of disappear or they leave and try to get paid. But I don't know. Like, even Revis, I think if they were able to keep some of them, like I remember when Revis, that whole big thing, if they were able to keep him, but he wanted to get a high tail out of there. And that's for a reason.
Yeah, it's always something. He was asking about his money. He didn't agree with the organization, some of the organization moves they was making. Then they brought in Rex Ryan for a couple of years, and that was a big fiasco. Things like that. They drafted. They had Mark Sanchez when Rex first got there, and that didn't seem to work out. And they brought Geno Smith in there, and then didn't seem to support his growth. So the organization is just bad. Then you hire this guy right here, look like he was hired at the press conference as the head coach, and Adam Gase. So I just don't know what they're trying to do. So Rams were great, when I was here for the first couple of years. What made the Rams bad is the organization and the management of the team. So these two teams right here, the Jets and Miami, are continuing that pattern. Until the organization and the management gets better, then they're always going to be a subpar team. It don't matter what they do.
Yeah. And it seems like they're always wasting an opportunity. They've had the talent. You can go as far as back as remember when Keyshawn was back there, and then, he was more of a ahead of the time, kind of like a T.O., Ocho Cinco, like that type of personality. And it was good for that city, but it just seems like they never was able to control the atmosphere, and then they will transfer into losing, and then especially with the Meadowlands, and then some of the sharing that arena, I feel like they don't really have that buy-in from that city, because then the Giants was capitalizing off of them, and they might not have had as much talent, but they over there winning.
Yeah, I just think the Jets, in Miami, they just always going to be subpar. Buffalo was on. They do a lot of great, but then you got to go back. When was the last time the Jets really had a good team already? It was in contention when they had Joe Namath. I mean, when he made the guarantee. I mean, when the last time they really was going into the season like they was supposed to win it?
Curtis Martin, Curtis Martin era.
They was always average. They was when they had Chad Pennington, they always were considered they were just 8-8, 9. I mean, they never was considered an upper echelon team. Even when they got the years they got what? They had Brett Favre for a couple of years. They always the thing about they're one of them teams, they try to fool it, they fool their fans. They try to act like they fans are they really trying to win. But they really not. Because they'll draft a guy like their safety right now. They draft a guy. He does well. He does everything asked. He performs well, does everything asked, and they have a hard time giving him the money. Darrelle Reeves was the same way. He had to bend him over backwards. So I don't think they're really bought in of really trying to win all the way. I think they fool their fans. They're bringing a Brett Favre. They're bringing a little has-been quarterback. Or they do some little pieces here and there, but really not trying to all out trying to win. So I just think they're one of them organizations that fool their fans, and that's what they're doing now. They're fooling their fans, thinking they're going hyping them up, and by week 5, they're out of contention.
Like that Parcells, like he tried to bring that same vibe that he had with the Patriots, and it wasn't able to work. And Brian Cox, and remember they had them hardcore players. I can remember even back then, it was just like you said, they start off good and just could never finish.
There was just that era, I think, 90s. You guys, probably remember. I mean, your high school or middle school, I think, has close to maybe just graduating. I remember Vinny Testaverde, and they come all the way to the title game. That's when the Jets, I thought, they're great on defense, balanced on offense. They had Wayne Corbett receiving out there. Keyshawn was there. That was a good team. Yeah, I just look at that franchise as being a franchise that has had opportunity, because the Giants went and won 2 Super Bowls by being an average team in the regular season and pulling off the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Jets, with a new stadium, had every single opportunity through the draft to stake some claim there, and they never did it right. They had every opportunity. Talent. Tomlinson, you mentioned so many guys, all kinds of talent, and they just threw it away.
It was old. It was old. Thompson was a little older.
But he wasn't there to be the feature back. He was there to share carries. He was there just to be good part of the time. You brought these names that would draw other names with you, guys to build around to take it to the next level. It never could.
It reminded me of the Baltimore Orioles. The Baltimore Orioles do that every year. They're bringing a has-been baseball guy who put up numbers 3 years ago, and they're bringing him in and sell it to their fans like he's going to take us to the promised land, and they get the same 50 wins that they got the year before that. So I just think the Jets is one of the organizations, they never, if they happen to win, they'll win, but they not really out there trying to win. You remember when Bill Belichick took the job and backed out? Mm-hmm. And Parcells told him to back out. It's a reason for that. Yeah, he told him that organization working under Woody might not be best for you because you're trying to win. Woody and the owners are now all the time trying to win, if you know what I mean. So, and I think that happens more than a lot. It's only maybe 10 teams, I think, in the league that's consistently trying to win. Everybody else is smoke and mirrors. You sell merchandise and selling stuff to their fans. I just don't think everybody puts it out because they're still going to win. They're still going to make money regardless.
But But Belichick be taking dudes in the back end of their careers and be still winning though. So that's what I'm saying. You got to have the right organization and the right environment to. I mean, like you said, you brought up LT Thomas Jones. They had a lot. They had some pieces, dudes on their back end, but it's kind of like, But Belichick known for that now. He don't be look at him at people he drafts. He'll take somebody in the back end of their career and go win a Super Bowl and won't bat an eye.
He was for that decision, so I mean, maybe Corey Dillon, he probably did that before. I don't think Corey Dillon was on the back end. I just think Corey Dillon was ready to get out of Cincinnati. Randy Moss definitely wasn't on the back end. He was like in the middle. Not too many skill guys. Now, they might take a D lineman, a DN, a linebacker that's maybe on the back end of their career that don't need for a lot of athleticism. But he does take guys that way.
Well, they take guys who are established. Like, they'll do that more than a lot of teams will. And let's be honest, the Patriots drafts, for the most part, in the last 10, 15 years, have not been great drafts. They haven't drafted well at all, especially at wide receiver. And yet they find
even
a way.
Running back.
Yeah.
Name they skill guys. Like when you like all they Super Bowl rings, name they skill guys. Like who's they stud? That's why I think Tom Brady is even more so when people name their guys. And I think that was the same thing with Mike Marson, the Rams' greatest show. He used a lot of free agency, and it was his system. Same thing with Belichick. Name their guys. Who's they stud?
That system didn't work for Mike Marson unless he had Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Ricky Pro, Isaac King. When he left and went to Chicago and all the other shit, them numbers wasn't the same. Them numbers was not the same.
He was always at the top. Even when he went to Detroit. You remember Mike Furrey. Mike Furrey was leading the league in catches.
With the offense
with Kitna.
I
was there.
Yeah.
I mean, now we weren't winning, but the numbers was there. Mike Furrey had over 100-something catches, man. It's you talk about his system, and even in Chicago, I agree. I think his arrogance got the best of him in a little bit in there, too, because Lovey brought him back in. Now, I can't talk on that. But his quarterbacks are always going to do numbers. They're always going to be at the top. Now, games, I think it's St. Louis because, you got star power and Torrey Holt, first round, Marshall and all that. But he's going to get numbers. But Belichick, this dude, man, I don't even know. I can't even name his backs, receivers. Randy Moss, I know you said in the middle, he was in the back end. Torrey Holt went over there. I just can't believe the success that they have with these guys. And you can say, well, Tom Brady was a whatever round pick. Like they're bombing people. When they went in Atlanta, there's no way they should have been able to play with Atlanta. And they did it with, Wes Welk. Because of him, the Armandolas of the world and all these guys is getting paid where you say, okay, a white number 3rd receiver short, like that's not Bill that got these guys paid. That's not the norm. So that's why I kind of tip my hat off to him because he's doing it with less than where the Jets, like what we're saying, and the Dolphins have talent and they can't even win their division.
Let me ask you a question, both of you, and Tommy, you brought this up. You didn't mean to. It wasn't one of those, but you said there are only about 10 teams in the league that are trying to win, right? Mm-hmm. Given the changes the Rams have made, and so you mentioned the Rams here some, and the era you played in, are the Rams one of those 10 teams in your belief system now that are trying to win?
I think they think about. I think they get back in the conversation. I think they're trying to do things in the off season, which even when I played here, they drafted well. That's what I would say. They had they sucked for so long, and then they caught a nice with Charlie Army and Jay Zigmar. They drafted Torrey Holt. They brought in Marshall Faulk. They kept Isaac Bruce. They drafted Orlando Pace. They drafted Isaac. So they drafted well. Then they got to a point after I left, like, well, they're not drafting well, and they ain't bringing no free agents. Well, it looked like they're trying to leave. So now it look like they're back to trying to upgrade their roster every year, drafting well. So it seemed like they got the people in place. The coach, I mean, I like McVay. I think he's a great offensive mind that's going to Like he's a Mike Marks type of guy who's going to put up a lot of yardage on offense, but I think he may be a little better with the people part of it. I would say they may be in that top 10 now. I think they trying to be trying to have a consistent winner.
Arlen, what do you think?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt with a young coach like that, he's definitely trying to win. You know what I mean? Trying to make his mark. I think him teamed up, with the GM, they're trying to win and leave their mark. But I think in the past with the Rams, at least my experience, at least in St. Louis, is ownership. There's always a distraction up front in that office. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then, Mike butted head. So I think it was always a distraction. I think they was used to competing in the division, got their Super Bowl, was in the Super Bowl. But I think now they got something to prove. And with all the changes, new stadium, new city, they got to win. I think that's part of their plan. Like, they got to win.
Yeah.
So
I think once you move back to LA, it was no more being half-assed. I think you got to go all out because LA, they don't accept no losers. So, but the Rams, they didn't throw with.
You win or LA, you win or you're forgotten. There's too many distractions out there. Too many things to do. All right, so really quick, last thing for the show here. Your win totals here. Okay, you guys both have the Patriots win the division, is that correct?
Yep.
Bills. Tommy, you have
I got the Bills.
Dolphins going third, Jets fourth, Arlen, Patriots, Bills, Jets, Dolphins. Correct? So what are your win totals for each team here? What do you think if we play a 16-game season and we're all saying fingers crossed, where does that go for you? Arlen?
I think the Dolphins, it'll be a big year if they win 5. I think the Jets, they're not going to make the playoffs either. They'll maybe still get 7. And I think the Bills, I know last year they won 10. I think they're still in that range, that 10, 11 game. I think they're going to shock some people. And then the Patriots, they always going to be plus 11. I think they'll win 12 games or, you know what I mean, be in that range. So I'll be shocked if the Dolphins go 500.
Tommy?
I like the Patriots to win 10 games. I think 11, 12, that's asking too much. Cam got to come and learn the offense. This offense is a little bit tough. I think Buffalo win 9, maybe 10. It's going to be close. So I think the Patriots and Buffalo is going to be real close. So 9 or 10 games. And I think Dolphins will win 6 and the Jets will win 5.
All right. So there we go.
They said the Patriots got the hardest schedule this year. Y'all think that's true?
Well, that's what they say.
I think it's harder for them.
But they got a veteran team. They got a veteran quarterback. They got veteran defense. So, with a veteran coach. So, it's just now you got to get Cam acclimated to that offense. Can he pick it up?
And also in fairness, though, just to play a little bit devil's advocate, for the last couple of years, they've had one of the easiest schedules, and they've had one of the easiest divisions to be in. So all of a sudden, now you're playing the NFC West, which is no joke. We all know that. They have an improved AFC East and a first-place schedule, right? So this, to me, this is going to be a really challenging year for the Patriots overall. And I'm wondering, how quickly does Cam Newton pick up the offense? I think he will, by the way. I think there's just too much talent there with the guy with the contract on the line to where he's going to pick it up, but how soon will he pick it up and how soon will that team come together around him? I'm just wondering. Tom Brady's there for 20 years.
Well, I think Cam got the personality. I think he can get those guys to play for him. I really do. He just has a great, infectious personality when he's engaged. I know early in his career he had throw the towel on his head a little bit, but I think now he's a little older. I think now he can really engage with the guys and bring them closer. Especially he has a lot to prove.
Arlen?
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. With the whole situation. I think with that, taking that into account and not being able to be on site right now. I know he's working out. I know he's staying sharp. I know they're he locked in and they're going over stuff. But it'll be interesting to see how he clicks and if we don't have a preseason, I think that's going to hurt Cam. I think that's going to hurt Cam if we don't have a preseason because it's going to be a lot of moving parts in a totally different offense.
All right. Well, there you go, folks. There's our AFC East preview. Lots of great conversation and getting some time with the Rams there as well. They play the AFC East this year, by the way. The Patriots come to Los Angeles to the new stadium at SoFi, and that'll be fun to watch. The Rams have some, I would say, a little bit of vengeance probably in mind. Okay. You can follow us on Twitter at Ramsball. You can follow Tommy at TPolley29. You can follow Arlen at ArlenHarris33 and me at DCPaul, all on Twitter. You'll find us anywhere podcasts can be found, and we'll be back with our next episode covering the NFC East. Until then, we're out of here. Have a great one.
Run it!